There are stone tablets in Egypt that shouldn't exist. Tablets carved with a language older than the earliest pharaohs, older than the pyramids, older than anything we've ever placed on the human timeline. They were discovered, photographed, briefly studied, and then quietly erased, not lost erased. And today, we're going to follow the trail of a discovery that many believe Egypt never wanted the world to see. For decades, archaeologists denied these tablets existed, calling them mistakes, misidentifications, or outright fabrications. But every few years, fragments of old photographs, torn journal pages, or leaked excavation reports resurface, always describing the same objects. 3 tablets carved from a dark obsidian-like stone, with symbols no one could recognize. They were found in the western desert far from the Nile, far from any known settlement in a region the ancient Egyptians once called the land, where the gods began. What happened at the end of the investigation terrified the team studying them, and we'll return to that part later. The story begins in the 1930s, when explorer James Cartwright led a small expedition across the western desert. His team discovered a collapsed sandstone ridge that concealed a carved entrance leading deep underground. Inside, they found a chamber unlike any known desert site. Smooth walls, perfect symmetry, and in the center, placed on a raised pedestal, were 3 black stone tablets arranged in a triangular formation. Cartwright wrote that the stone was unlike anything he had ever encountered, heavier than granite, darker than basalt, yet with a glass-like surface that absorbed light. Across each tablet were symbols carved with impossible precision, perfectly straight lines, spirals, geometric interlocking shapes, and patterns that looked more like circuitry than ancient writing. But the most unsettling feature was what these tablets were pointing toward. At the back of the chamber stood a seamless, hingeless stone door made from the same dark material. Cartwright became convinced the tablets were some kind of key or message left behind by a civilization predating Egypt by thousands of years. Before Cartwright could publish his findings, everything disappeared. The tablets vanished. His journals were confiscated. Newspapers that initially reported the discovery abruptly retracted their articles, and Cartwright himself died under mysterious circumstances shortly after returning to Cairo. All that remained were a few smuggled photographs and fragments of his handwritten notes preserved by team members who fled Egypt. For decades, the story was dismissed as a desert myth until technology caught up. In 1998, a team of geologists using ground-penetrating radar detected a massive rectangular void deep beneath the same region Cartwright had mapped. Something enormous was buried there, something shaped exactly like an underground chamber. Researchers who examined the surviving photographs of the tablets proposed several theories. Some believed they were pre-dynastic relics, created by a forgotten culture that existed before Egypt became a unified kingdom. If true, this would rewrite the timeline of writing, art, and architectural capability. Others believed the tablets served as warnings. Many of the symbols resembled later Egyptian motifs connected to destruction, cosmic cycles, and divine judgment. One circular symbol, divided into 9 segments, was nearly identical to the later Ennead sept. These engravings predated the Ennead by thousands of years. What were the tablets warning about? And why did later Egyptians mirror those symbols? The most controversial theory suggested that tablets belonged to a lost civilization more advanced than early Egypt. The precision of the carvings, the unfamiliar stone, and the geometric complexity all pointed to an origin far older and more advanced than anything acknowledged by mainstream history. In 2010, everything changed when a leaked restoration report surfaced from the Cairo Museum. The report described a small fragment of an artifact brought in under heavy security. It matched the photographs of Cartwright's tablets exactly. But the shocking part wasn't the front, it was the back. Under infrared scanning, faint engravings appeared, invisible to the naked eye. These engravings formed a star map, but not a modern sky, and not the sky of the Old Kingdom. It mapped the heavens as they looked roughly 12,000 years ago. At the center of the star map was the symbol of an eclipse. Why would an ancient tablet reference a sky thousands of years older than Egyptian civilization? Because whoever made it either lived during that time or preserved knowledge from a cataclysmic event that occurred then. 12,000 years ago marks the end of the last ice age and a global period of sudden, violent climatic change remembered in myths worldwide. Numerous civilizations describe a great destruction, a flood, or a celestial event that reshaped the world. Could the tablets be a record of that event? The leaked translation attempts only add to the mystery. One line, reconstructed from the infrared engravings, speaks of a cycle that ends when the sky darkens and a return of the shadow that once covered the earth. Another line warns of doors that must remain sealed until the appointed time. The sealed stone door behind the tablets suddenly becomes more disturbing. Was it hiding something, protecting something, or keeping something contained? Without the full tablets, the message remains incomplete. But the pattern is clear. The tablets were not simple records. They were instructions, or warnings, and someone, either ancient Egyptians or a later authority, believed those warnings were too dangerous to reveal. Today, the chamber remains sealed and officially unstable. No modern team has been allowed to excavate the anomaly detected under the desert. The Egyptian Antiquities Authority continues to deny the tablets ever existed. But the fragments we do have, the photographs, the infrared scans, and the translated lines all point to the same conclusion. These objects were real, they were ancient, they were important, and someone made a deliberate effort to hide them. So the question remains, what did the original message say in full? What lies behind the sealed stone door beneath the desert? And why did a forgotten civilization carve a warning meant to survive thousands of years? If you want to explore what might be waiting behind that underground door, the next step is to follow the strange clues left near the Great Pyramid, clues that suggest the desert hides far more chambers and secrets than we were ever meant to find.